Friends and family, welcome to another live broadcast brought to you by Premier's Turning Point, with your host, Bishop Dr. Uton Lane, and co-host, Overseer Franklin Williamson. We pray and hope that something that is being said today will bless your soul and spirit. Please take a quick moment to like and share this broadcast with your friends and family. Thank you again for joining us. Let's go into our live program.
Blessings, blessings, one and all. This is Bishop Dr. Lang saying good evening, good afternoon. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day today. We're outside in the park, just praising and glorifying God. And we are now just trying to get you guys pretty much update on the Turning Point. So you're listening to Premier's Turning Point, and we are with you today. And hopefully we're going to be having a guest on to talk about Juneteenth, but we will let you know as soon as that is possible. But first of all, we just wanted to do an update on the coronavirus and the status. That's going to be our first section. Then we're going to take a little break, and then we will come back and talk about Juneteenth. So we want to thank you all for joining us. As you know, the status of the coronavirus, we're still, the pandemic is not over. We are doing much better in the United States. We're having some places up to 70% have been vaccinated. Some states are not as good. Here in the Northeast, we are working and, people are getting vaccinated, but we still have a lot more people that needs to be. Because remember, when we get to the status where we have about 70% vaccinated, then, we know we will be where we'll get into the herd immunity, where will be a lot less people that are susceptible to the virus than people that are then vaccinated. And we will get to a point where the amount of people that are not vaccinated won't be as much where it would affect the entire population. So that's where we're trying to get to. We're trying to make sure that everyone is getting up to speed. Everyone is getting, getting the right information so that you can make sure that you're vaccinated and you're all in line with what is going on. We're still open if anybody have any questions that you can join us with your questions. We'll be more than happy to share the answers with you and give you some feedback where that's concerned. So we want everybody to make sure you have a great understanding of what it is to expect where the virus is concerned. We know you're hearing a lot about that Delta variant that is out there right now that is really affecting a lot of the places. We're seeing up to 20% of the new virus that are showing up, even in the United States, is that Delta variant. However, that Delta variant is susceptible to the vaccine, and especially if you have had your second shot of the two-shot vaccines, then they're showing 92% effectivity, even against the Delta variant. So we want everybody to make sure that you are vaccinated if you so desire. Remember now, and I want you to remember that you heard that from me, where nobody is forcing anyone to be vaccinated. We're just letting you know that it's a good idea. It makes sense. And this is one of the things that you should really consider with all that is going on, and all of the amount of sickness that is around. It's a very much so incumbent on you to make that decision, whether you put it from a scientific basis or from a religious basis. You have to then decide if you're going to be vaccinated and then get that done. So we want everybody to understand that. Remember now, a lot of people are saying, well, to do most everything, you need to be vaccinated. Not everything, but a lot of things. Even the ball games and the sporting events, when you go there, they're separating vaccinated from non-vaccinated and treating them a little bit differently. And of course, certain industries in the airline industry, everybody's still, they want you to be either vaccinated or testing negative before you travel. And also, it's also necessary if you're going to go into healthcare facility, they're still requesting that it be worn. So it's going to be important that you understand all of this, that you're living according, you're watching, and you're following all of the details. I want everybody to, with any questions about the vaccine, please to, send in your comments, ask your questions, and make sure you get all the information. It's going to be important going forward that people have all the information and then make their decision based on that. So that's just a quick update on the coronavirus. We're gonna, just break a little bit, and hopefully our guest is on. I'm doing this from my phone today, so I can't see if the guest is on, but my producer will let me know if that's so that we can
Yes, sir.
go. Yeah, all right. So my guest is on. All right. I don't
Yes.
see him yet.
Yes, he is.
Uh,
All right.
all
I
right.
see him.
All right. So are you on, sir? All right.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes,
I
we
can't
can
see
hear
you,
you.
but I can.
Awesome,
All right. So
awesome.
we can hear you. So in a minute, I'm going to have you to introduce yourself in just a minute. Let me just take a minute to inform everybody just as we break in between sessions here. We want everybody to realize that we want just one announcement I have for our ministry that's starting in July. We're going to start our Sunday morning service at 9 a.m. So that's starting in July. We're having a time change. And so we hope everybody will join us both on Facebook, on YouTube, and get all the information. All right. And I think Overseer Williams is not with us today, but we're going to move
Yes,
along
I'm
with
here.
our guest. Oh, go ahead.
I'm here,
All
Bishop.
right. So you're here. All right.
Yeah, we're
Blessings. So
about
we now
to.
open up to, bro. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
let me
I'm
give
doing this.
my. Yeah,
All right.
let me give
Overseer
my
Williams.
quick announcement too.
Yes, I'm going to do
Yes.
that now. Go ahead, Overseer Williamson.
Bless you, Bishop. Bless you. I see that we are mobile. I'm all the way in Atlanta, and so glad that with technology we can still reach out to the our listeners live. Yes, it's really important, and I want to echo what Dr. Lang says about this vaccine. As New York City, July 1st, swings wide open, 70% of New Yorkers have received the vaccine. When you look at looking at the road, it's very, very hard meaning the and if the churches are very careful. So we're encouraging. I'm in the process now, Bishop, in making the Bronx Church a vaccination site. I'm working on making that happen so the community have some level of trust. They like to see someone who they can relate to stand there and encourage them to be vaccinated. Also regarding starting today, we'll be in our 49th general convocation. Our convocation will be hybrid and will be part in person and part fully virtual. So we start at 6 a.m. with morning glory, and we call into a prayer which is being hosted by our churches in UK, churches in St. Lucia, church in so everyone in. It's a very easy number, 16091 Lord. That's free conference call. And the evening session starts at 7:30. Our first 3 nights will be teaching on the promise of the Holy Spirit, work of the Holy Spirit, part 1, part 2, part, and the work of the Holy Spirit. So if you can at 7:30 on our Zoom account, you should see the flyer coming out. Please join us. And then starting on Thursday, in-person services at our headquarters at 2314 Snyder Avenue. We have a great package lineup. We'll be dealing with the pandemic. We'll be dealing with the vaccination, mental health, looking at the digital shift that just need to embrace. And also, we're looking at some academic. Our children now who are matriculated and some who have graduated need to know how to apply for college and what's required. Many come to the end of their high school years and weren't fully aware it's credit.
Turn right on Lakeview
So
Drive.
some are doing credit recovery. So we're going to be looking at all of that. So join us. You'll get more through the program. God bless you. Back to you, Bishop. Our guest speaker is here. All right. Can you hear me? All right. Yes, I see him. All right. So you may go ahead. Not hearing you, Bishop.
In a quarter of a mile, you'll arrive at one.
Not hearing you, Bishop. All right. As you can see, we are mobile, so slight technical issues. We're going to ask our guest, I think WNACP. I hope I'm getting it correct.
Yes, you are. You are, Overseer.
God bless you, man. I know Mario, who the top guy, he came to one of our functions. I'm so glad to be affiliated with you. Go ahead and give us a little introduction, and you can take it away. I did a piece on Juneteenth, reminding the church what it meant after the Declaration of Independence. And it took 2 years before the word from Texas to black folks that we were free. And Juneteenth is an abbreviation of June 19th. So go ahead, sir. And, introduce yourself. You have a captive audience.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Bishop Lang, and the Overseer. We appreciate being a part of your education and advocacy for your congregation. My name is Leslie Samuel Jr., and I am president for the Trenton branch, NAACP, Unit 2108B, covering all of Mercer County, which are the municipalities, including Trenton, but also surrounding the city of Trenton. And we started our campaign with a new mantra called Empower Mercer. Okay, and we're moving our branch forward with a deliberate purpose to positively impact Black and Brown communities through advocacy and education. And we invite each of you who are on the call today, some of which may live within the borders of Mercer County, to join the Trenton branch and we authentically fight forward. And you can activate your membership at www.naacp.org. Find the Become a Member button and select Unit 2108B. I believe I was here. I believe I was asked to be here today just to talk a little bit about Juneteenth and the transcendence of Juneteenth. We believe should forevermore be a day dedicated to the gathering and the distribution of information, which renders outcomes that drastically improve the quality of life for Black and Brown people. We believe that if we commit to gathering and distributing information, we will be able to catapult the next generation of leadership. We believe if we plant seeds of timely and purposeful information, those seeds will blossom into real outcomes for our community's collective health and well-being. So Juneteenth, we believe, is about stopping the delay of useful information and bringing into existence a truly inclusive society with a stimulated and a bolstering economy for all people. And Dr. Lang and Overseer, I want to personally, on behalf of our branch, thank you for moving beyond those ambiguous corporate equity statements and fighting forward to a space of true active advocacy in the trenches of real Black liberation. But you must know that true liberation will only occur when the yoke of systematic and cultural oppression of Black and brown people is publicly acknowledged, permanently shattered, and then ensuring our people are properly repaired. Reparations will be a topic of discussion, a trending topic of discussion in the months to come. And we hope that you will be preparing your congregation to join in that discussion. Last week, we commemorated the historical basis of Juneteenth and how that history directly impacts Black and brown communities. On June 19th, 1865, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and his mission was to officially inform thousands who were entangled in the Confederate States institution of slavery. Now, be it known to those in Galveston, be it unknown to those in Galveston, they were delayed in receiving information about the Emancipation Proclamation, which was enacted 30 months prior. Now, the Galveston community must have been a smorgasbord of emotions when the slaves and the slave masters alike were informed that the imported Negroes of the African race were and should have always been free. Free to love, free to live, free to pursue happiness. So when we celebrate and emulate Juneteenth, we believe at the Trenton Branch NAACP that Juneteenth should be celebrated and emulated as an information sharing tradition each year going forward, an information sharing tradition. Justice delayed is justice denied, all right? And we must deliberately, and then every June 19th, albeit ceremoniously, honor this day again as an information sharing tradition, because too many of our Black and brown communities within the state of New Jersey are being delayed access to information that will radically improve our collective community. And Juneteenth is about preventing that delay of information, and it's essential information that improves our community's health and well-being and finances. So when you think about the Trenton Branch NAACP, and there's branches of the NAACP all throughout the state of New Jersey, when you think about our work, we will work in concert with those whose mission is aligned with ours, because we want you to demand that your municipal, that means your local, your state, and your federal governments stop the delay in justice and enacting real police reform. All right. I don't know if you've been following the news, but right now we're demanding civilian review boards with investigative and subpoena powers. And I don't know if you're following the news, but the Assembly delayed that vote. And the Trenton Branch NAACP is here to say to stop delaying justice and police reform. Just last week, Sunday, we celebrated Father's Day. And if you think about it, there are still many Black and brown men and boys sitting in prison on cannabis charges during a global pandemic. That is an example of mass incarceration. And we need to stop the delay in ending mass incarceration. Juneteenth is about stopping the delay. We need for municipal, state, and federal governments to empower our Black American families. All Americans benefit from knowing true American history. The Trenton Branch NAACP is here today to say stop delaying the proper funding of public education of black and brown communities. There was a bill called the Amistad Bill, and that bill became New Jersey law in 2002. It is now 19 years later. We would like for the state of New Jersey to teach that Amistad curriculum in all New Jersey schools. We know that young people who are properly educated will become adults who will properly stimulate our economy. So again, when we think about Juneteenth, we think about stopping the delay of essential information. Galveston, Texas was delayed 30 months before they knew what the rest of the America knew, is that slaves were free. Galveston, Texas was delayed that information for 30 months. Hopefully we can begin to further improve the lives of our community during this 2021 Juneteenth holiday and beyond. But know that the Trenton Branch NAACP is here to say, stop delaying Black liberation and empower all of our Black and brown families throughout the state of New Jersey. And I hope that this little tidbit of information about Juneteenth will be accepted by the congregation and explored, and then hopefully sanctioned and become a way of life for those who heard this message today. So Bishop and Overseer, thank you for allowing me just a few moments to be able to talk about our perspective on Juneteenth. And remember, Juneteenth, information sharing holiday where we commit to enforcing our municipal, state, and federal governments to stop the delay of essential information that empowers our Black and brown community. So thank you for letting me speak just a little while, and we totally appreciate it.
Les, before you go, I got a question for you, because you said some thought-provoking things as it relates to the delay in information. I'm coming from an educational background. Most of the textbooks are printed in Texas. Now, the history of the Black, I mean, I don't really know what to call it. Sometimes we're Negro, sometimes we're African American. I would keep on changing my names. Don't ask me why. Now let's look at history. What can we do to ensure that the curriculum that is taught in the schools, not just Juneteenth, is a total representation of the true history? Because you and I know history is being taught not by victims, by a victim. And Robert Nesta Marley, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're coming from. And our young people don't really see themselves as successors, as champions in history. History paints us as poor, beggars, paints us as hated, owning property. But if we look at history, and we have been the founding pillars of this great United States of America. Can we champion causes to really ensure that the books that are being used in our schools have the Black history allocated to those
Overseer,
Sure.
Overseer, that is exactly what the bill is about. And in the state of New Jersey, that bill became law in 2002, demanded that schools K through 12 use Black American history in language arts in all components of each school. And that's not happening across the board. When you think about history, Black and brown people need to understand where we came from, to know and to be prepared for where we're going. But also think about those who are part of the dominant culture, who are sometimes unbeknownst to them, are perpetuating the bad history that teaches white supremacy, because they too have a of history. Now, that's exactly why the Amistad curriculum was established. That's exactly why the Amistad was brought up, and it's passed, because whites, along with blacks, and everyone needs to know the true history of the Black American. We all know on this call that our history goes even further beyond kings and queens, and held high esteemed roles within our communities. We know that. That's up to us to teach that to our young people who are within our circles. But that Amistad curriculum is supposed to teach Black American history within the curriculums of every New Jersey school. So, to answer your question, we need to go to our local officials, we need to go to our state officials, and we need to go to our federal officials, and we need to demand that Black American history, real, true, authentic Black American history, is infused in all components of the New Jersey Department of Education curriculums. And that is how I think in the long game, meaning long-term, 10, 20 years, we will begin to level the playing ground as far as knowledge content when it comes to knowing history, and then also humbling those that feel that they're in the dominant culture, because I think you also know that there is a paradigm shift of the browning America, right? So at some point, America is going to be more than it is white. So white will no longer be, quote unquote, a dominant culture. So we need to be able to level the playing field by properly teaching American history, making sure that that American history is totally, totally infused with Black American history.
Definitely.
And bless. Bishop,
very important that that is being done. And I know that the curriculum should be that in New Jersey. And I think we're trying to inform everybody that this is what it should be. So you should make sure you're talking to your school boards, even all the levels of government, and get involved so that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I think that is going to be an important
That's
step.
exactly.
That's an important step. I'm not sure what it is in New York, if they have but overseer should know what the curriculum is like, if they have anything specific like that, but he can talk to that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Again, Bishop, it's not a holistic curriculum. And to be quite frank, we need to get to the place where it's neither Black history or white history, it's American history. And where history is told occurs. So, because you do have our Latin American friends who also have played a critical role in these United States of America. So we need to make sure history is recorded and taught accurately, and remove all the biases, remove all the prejudices, and let history lands where it lands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, but we have to stay in an advocate mode, though, so that we make sure that is happening. I think that's the thing that I think even the churches, us, the churches can, really advocate, start with your young people, get them motivated, advocated, and let them know their history even from that standpoint, and that, this is what should be taking place in general. And I think if we do this, eventually over time, we'll be where we're hearing the right history.
I 100% agree with that, Bishop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think, we can do, and I think, I know the NAACP does a lot of work, a lot of grassroots work. I am actually part of my local chapter. I've been a little bit not active, but I'm finding some time now. I'm carving out some time for that. but I'm with the New Brunswick group. And I'm going to carve out a little bit of time because I think as a child of God, standing up for justice and truth, we should, take a stand on every issue to make sure everybody is getting an equal shake and an equal share of what they should get. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And everybody,
Yep.
and know that we cannot win this fight. Our white brothers and sisters, our Latin brothers and sisters, and our Asian brothers and sisters. We can't fight this fight alone. And
No.
it's really important for us to take the lead and take ownership of our history so that others can humble themselves and allow our history to flourish. And I'm happy that you are a part of the New Brunswick branch of the NAACP. Let me give a shout out to Brother Bruce Morgan, who I believe is the president of the New Brunswick branch of the NAACP. And Brother Bruce Morgan is a awesome man. And, he should you can definitely add value to the New Brunswick branch because of who you are and what you know. And so look forward to you, Bishop, and your overseer to becoming more active in your local branch, NAACP, because this fight is not for the weary of heart. This fight is for those who are real, true freedom fighters, and is unapologetic about it.
Yep. All right. So we really appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna have you back, and maybe I'll see if I could reach out to Mr. Johnson as well, and just have everybody on. I think we got to keep these things and all of these issues at the forefront because that's what happened. For example, Juneteenth, and really why I wanted to talk about it. I mean, I have learned about it, because I don't know American history that well, so I had to study it. So I gotta. Right. I mean, I went to school in Jamaica, just so you know. And so I catch on under the various groups. But it's amazing. I was amazed how many people who should know the American history did not have a clue what this was. We even have a holiday and don't have a clue. So I think it's one of those things to show you that there's so much history that we need to, grapple with and just bring to the forefront. And I think programs like these and others and the churches and all the organizations should just play their part, and we're going to get it done. So any last words from either party here?
No, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And thank you for the work that you're doing within your community. It's noble, it's honorable, and I am honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you being with us today, and I'm sure we'll be calling you again. Overseer, any last words? All right, I'm not sure if we still have him, but we thank everybody for listening. You have been joining in with Premier's Turning Point. This is Bishop Dr. Lang saying blessings. Have a wonderful weekend, and may God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.
Turning Point family, what an awesome time we just had. To all our first-time guests, we truly appreciate you for joining our live broadcast. We would like to hear from you, so please send us your comments, questions, or testimonies of how this program has impacted your life. Our email address is info@pflmi.org. Finally, if you feel led at any time to give to this ministry, please visit us at pflmi.org and click on the tab for donations. You can also give via Cash App at $PFLMIORG. We're looking forward to meeting with you live on next week's program. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.